Hey Matt, have you tried the quesarito?
A long time ago I did, yeah.
Well, it's officially back.
It's back.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Washed Nuggets podcast, a proud part of the Wash Kings network. This is the show where a couple of cousins talk hoops, the NBA, and keep you updated on everything you need to know about your Denver Nuggets. This show is being recorded about 9 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturday, January 3rd. Um, I'm your host, Pat Kennedy. I'm also joined by Matthew Hinnon in Denver, Colorado. Matty Ice, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, man. Participating in dry January as some of the folks are. So my drink of choice tonight is the Glacier Cherry Gatorade.
There you go. Yeah. We haven't recorded in a couple weeks. How was your Christmas and how was your New Year's?
Yeah, Christmas was a lot of fun. I spent it up at my parents' place in Black Hawk, Colorado, and then New Year's was a lot of fun. Had all the boys over and the girlfriends as well. So we had a huge party, and it was a ton of fun. I think we had a blast. Ventured around Idaho Springs for a little while, and then uh, hit the casino in Black Hawk and lost a good amount of money. So the odds were not in our favor for that one, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That was a good time. Yeah. I think I was the only one that was positive from the casino, and whoop-de-doo, I won a big $8.
Big time, big time.
But yeah, thanks.
We
Thanks
needed
again for
somebody to
hosting.
win.
Yeah. Shout out to Susan and Greg. I know Susan's an avid listener of the Wash Nuggets. So Susan,
Yep.
thanks for having us. Thanks again.
Thanks, mom.
But we got a great show for you guys tonight. Got a lot to cover. A lot of ups and downs. I feel like more downs as of recent with all these injuries. But let's hop right into some news and notes. Nuggets are now 23-11, currently standing fourth in the Western Conference, now behind Houston, San Antonio, and of course OKC, who's kind of running the Western Conference right now. Now we're on pace for 55 wins. Last time we had a show, we were on pace for about 62 wins. Um, as we've mentioned before, the franchise best was 57. So I think once we're back to health, I think we might be able to get back on pace to that 60 game um, kind of goal that we set before the season. But Matt, why don't you hit us with that next note?
Yeah. Um, Kind of big news. The the quesarito is back at Taco Bell. And I think the only reason that we bring that up is kind of the marketing scheme that's been going on between the Nuggets and Taco Bell and all that with Nikola Jokic. So um, we had for all of you that don't know, Jokic was drafted during a quesarito commercial, and I think he once joked in an interview that he had never tried Taco Bell because of that. I think he
That's
kind of
right.
had a little bit of a slight against against Taco Bell for that. And then that brings us to the current marketing campaign where Taco Bell and the Nuggets gave out T-shirts at the last Nuggets home game that read "Give the quesarito a chance." And Pat has. Why don't you stand up, Pat, and
Here it
show
is.
YouTube viewers what it looks like.
Yeah, it's
So
great. So this is like the commercial, like little snippet from the commercial. And I don't know if you can read, but it says the next pick is in. And that was sure enough one of the greatest basketball players of all time at the 41st pick of that draft, which is hilarious.
it's just absolutely hysterical. So a couple games later, Jokic showed up in a Taco Bell cardigan and a T-shirt that read "Still won't try it." So playing a little game of cat and mouse there with Taco Bell, but I think it's all in good fun, and I think he's tried it. I think he's
I'm,
actually had it.
I'm
I
sure he has.
I'm sure he's actually had it at in some way, shape, or form. But I could also see a world where it's the complete opposite, and Jokic actually like not that he really has anything against Taco Bell, but just for the bit, he's playing along with the fact that he's never tried it.
And they probably gave him free Taco Bell for life too, as a part of this
I'm
campaign.
sure. I'm sure. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they can afford that. Honestly,
Yeah, I love when Jokic plays along with like those marketing schemes. I know a couple years ago when Despicable Me
yeah.
came out and
Despicable Me. Yeah,
he showed up to the game dressed as Gru. So it's just fun when Jokic. I can't think of a time when any other player has done that, been a part of like some sort of marketing campaign, and he's having fun. Like he
I
doesn't
think
take this
he's
stuff
having.
too seriously.
Yeah, I think he's having a lot of fun with it. I think the Gru stuff was hilarious because it was like a commercial. It was a promo commercial for Despicable Me. Was it 2
Yeah, or
and or
I don't even know
3?
what they're
I
3 or
don't even
4.
know what
I don't
they're
even know what
on.
they're on, or maybe of a Minions movie, maybe.
It could have been the Minions movie, but he was in an interview and this lady was talking to him like, oh, like why does it bother you that like they make fun of you or they dress like that? And he goes, it doesn't. And she's like, okay, what's the problem? And he goes, they won't stop following me. And she
Yeah,
goes, hey, and he like pulls down the blinds
he
and there's
goes,
all the minions at the window. He goes,
"Oh my
guys,
gosh,
I'm not your boss. And I just think it's one of those it's one of those really cool kind of breaking the fourth wall, if you
totally."
will, situations in sports where you kind of get to see like a little bit of a human side of somebody, and even if it's a marketing or a marketing ploy or something to kind of advance uh something else in terms of like a movie, but yeah, super super fun. We've had a good kick out of that here in Denver with the quesarito stuff. There's a lot of people that went to that game that I don't think got the joke or like really cared for it. So there's a
Yeah,
ton of give the quesarito a chance t-shirts up on Facebook Marketplace right now.
yeah. I was able to snag one because Cassie's dad works for Argus, and he
Yeah,
was. I texted him. I was like, "Hey, if you can, snag me one of these."
that's
And
awesome,
so he's
dude.
able to.
I'm glad you got one.
Yeah, but it's always
Uh,
great to see Jokic playing around, being the jokester. That's why they call him the Joker.
love it.
Um,
I
he's
think he
just
I think he has fun with it. He just has a really straight, serious face when he does it.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's why it's so funny. Like he's
it
just
is.
unintentionally one of the
It's,
funniest characters in the NBA.
it's great. It's great.
Yeah, but
Um,
let's hop into our last quick note. Since our last pod on December 17th, the Nugs are 4-5 right now. So, like I mentioned, there's been a couple of injuries here and there, a couple notable games during this stretch. On the 20th, Houston got revenge in Denver. We've already beaten twice this year, but we kind of expected this one coming. They were kind of want to get some revenge on us. They won that game 115 to 101. And then on the 23rd, had another loss to the bad Dallas Mavericks team, 131 to 130. We kind of threw it away in the fourth quarter. Definitely a frustrating one there. That was a game where Cam Johnson got injured early into that fourth quarter,
yep.
went down holding his knee, and it looked really bad. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I mean, we'll get into
Non-contact
yeah,
injury.
and we'll get more into these injuries in our main segment. But also in that game, Cooper Flag went off with 33 points, and Cooper Flag so far against Denver, he's had some good games, and he's a future All Star, and he might have one hell of a career. So
Yeah.
hats off to that guy.
Yeah.
Um,
It's gonna be cool to watch him.
yeah, no doubt. Just sucks to be on the receiving end of that.
Yep. Yep.
And
That's
then
true.
on Christmas against Minnesota, this might go down as the greatest Christmas game of all time. Had that overtime win, 142 to 138. And we'll get into this in our last segment, but had that incredible, monstrous Jokic performance where he dropped 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists. Just an absolute video game stat line.
Yep.
Such a fun one. I can't wait to cover that one in a little bit. Then on the 27th, had the bad loss in Orlando, 127 to 126. Nuggets were up 11 going into the fourth, and then gave up 43 points. Uh, had a career high game for Anthony Black at 38 points, and just one of those losses where some random guy is having a career game, and I feel like that's happened at least 3 times this
Yep.
year against
Yep.
Nuggets. So that one was definitely frustrating. And then on the 29th, had the loss in Miami. And this is the one where a few seconds left in the first half, Spencer Jones kind of steps on Jokic's foot and he kind of stumbled over his knee wrong. And he goes down in a lot of pain and he's holding it. And that one looked really bad. And it was definitely gut wrenching because that is our biggest fear.
Yep.
But luckily, nothing was torn and it was a hyperextension. And now they're calling it kind of a bone bruise. And we'll get into that, like I said, in a little bit. And then on New Year's Eve, I had the gutsy win in Toronto. Um, and another one dropped. Big Val was injured late into the third. But Piwat was the leading scorer in this one with 24 points, also had 8 rebounds. Got some legit Deron Holmes minutes finally. Had 22 minutes from the guy. I know we've been waiting on this one. Had 11 points as well, so it was cool to see him contribute in a significant way. And then last night, had the loss in Cleveland, 113 to 108. And the starting five was kind of like a fever dream. We had Jamal Murray, Jalen Pickett, Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones, and Deron Holmes. And at the beginning of the season, if you would have told me that we would have this as a starting five at some point, I would have told you that you are high.
Crazy. Yeah. I could not I could not have imagined a starting five unless it was something totally crazy, like we were just resting almost everybody.
Yeah.
But even in a situation mid-season where you're resting everybody, why is Jamal Murray in that starting
Yeah.
lineup? Like, I would have been very concerned, and rightfully so, of what has happened. If you had told me that earlier in the season, I would have been like, did everybody get injured? Did did the plane crash? Like, like was
Yeah.
there a pile up on I-25? Like, what is going on? Yeah,
Definitely.
I would have feared the worst, and we're sort of kind of in the middle of that, but yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, it's somewhat early in the season and we're dealing with this now and not later. But mini purgatory, as one would say.
Yeah, for sure.
But in this game last night, Jamal had a big first half, 28 points. He finished with 34. Nuggets led 97 to 88 going into the fourth, but were outscored 25 to 11. They just kind of ran out of juice there at the end. Felt like every time Cleveland put up a three or just a shot in general, it found the bottom of the hoop. They shot 50% from the field. Donovan Mitchell had 33 and kind of got flashbacks to the bubble where, Mitchell and Murray were going back and forth.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun to see those two go at it. Um, so overall, I thought it was an entertaining game and not a bad loss. Just kind of, like I said, ran out of gas in that fourth quarter and lacked some effort on the rebounding end of things. But Matt, what has your vibes been so far in, I guess, the 2 games that we have been missing Jokic?
A lot of fight. We talked about this. We're at DNVR for a couple of us were at DNVR, talked about it while watching the Miami game on the 29th. And we talked about how the Miami game kind of looked like one of those games where your star player goes out and the rest of the team kind of just gives up. I think we had flashes of that. I think we had flashes of fight during that game as well. And ultimately, over the last 2 games without Yoke, I think it's helped knowing his prognosis and how long he's going to be out, because I think it gives guys kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel per se. And I think that's something that's good. But I also think these guys have to kind of dig deep and kind of find something within themselves to keep going and to make it interesting and make it a fight and prove to not only themselves and everybody else and the coaching staff and the fans that they can handle being without the best player in the world.
Yeah.
P. Watt stepped up big, and I think we'll cover this a little bit later, but
Yeah.
P. Watt stepped up big. I think Jamal has continued a really admirable and great campaign so far. And I think it's kind of what we expect out of him after the way that the offseason went and how he started the season. So he's continuing that, which I love. He's putting up career numbers for him, and I love that. And we're gonna need it for sure. I think if we had a 2024 or 2023 Jamal, we might not get through this kind of
Yeah,
unscathed in that way.
it's true.
But I love the fight. I love the physicality of this team. I love that guys are flying around. I love that we're seeing De'Ron Holmes pass the ball in the way that he has. I think he had uh, eight eight assists in one in the last game or the game before that. So
I think it was 6.
was it six?
Yeah.
So I mean he's passing the ball really well. He can kind of dribble. He knows his way around the court, and I've been wanting to see De'Ron Holmes minutes for for a long time. I biasly think he's better than Zeke Naji to go out there and
Oh
help,
yeah.
but unfortunately we're in a position where we're going to need both of them. And
Yeah.
I think all that's left for De'Ron Holmes to do in the situation that he's put in right now is to have some confidence in his shot. Other than that, I think he's playing about as well as you can expect him to play in this scenario. But yeah, other than that, I think guys are gonna have to step up, and a lot of them have proven that they could step up. So it'll be interesting going forward. But over the last two games, love the fight, love the heart. These guys want to play, and I'm all for it. I think that's something that speaks to David Adelman and this coaching staff as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I'm glad that you brought up the word fight a lot. That's kind of one of the key words behind this identity without some of these main players. And Peyton Watson actually had a quote after one of these games. He said, I feel like there's a lot of people that doubt us. And there's a lot of people that would say that without Joker, we're a lottery team. They said, and even if we win, they're going to say that it's a lucky win. We've just got a team of guys that know how to fight, and that just speaks to the culture that I don't know if it's what Adelman has built, but what these young guys are about with Peyton Watson and I think Spencer Jones hopping in there and just being an absolute dog. It's been really fun to see so far. So let's just roll into our main segment. As always, we have a fall damage report, but with all of the fall damages that we've had recently, it's pretty fitting that this is the main fall damage report.
Yeah, my my button's not working, or else I do the fall damage noise. But
Fall damage sound from I can improvise one.
yeah, go ahead.
That's for context, that's the fall damage. Oh,
There
there
we
it is.
go. We got it. Okay.
The sound from
Um,
Fortnite.
fall damage report from Fortnite. Sponsored by? Can we get a sponsor out from them?
Oh man, that'd be huge for the
That
boys.
would be crazy. Yeah, big injuries. Christian Brown again. We had he went down on November 12th at the Clippers. Aaron Gordon followed on the 21st at Houston. Cam Johnson, like we said, on December 23rd at Dallas, and then Jokic, obviously, December 29th at Miami, and Jonas Valančiūnas at Toronto. Something that's really interesting to be brought up from these, I'm not going to spend too much time on it or look too much into it, but these have all happened on the road.
Yeah.
So, not sure if that ties into it because correlation doesn't always equal causation in some scenarios, but it is just interesting to see a pattern of all of these are happening on the road. Listed in the injury report is Jamal Murray, our starting point guard, and our only starter from
Yeah.
the beginning of the season to still be starting now. And he's been dealing with that left ankle sprain. He's listed as day to day. He's also listed as probable. So I think he's just kind of dealing with it, and they have him on there for just kind of keeping an eye on him and making sure that the training staff does proper work on him. Moved into the questionable slots are Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, and I did read that is huge for us, which means their returns are looking more and more likely before the All-Star break, which is incredible. Aaron Gordon's still dealing with that right hamstring strain. He has been practicing 5-on-5, as has Christian Brown with that left ankle sprain. They've both been reevaluated. They've both been moved up to the questionable slot. I think it's just getting those guys up to speed and conditioned in the way that David Adelman kind of wants them to be, or that training staff also wants them to be, so that they can be moved into the probable slot on the injury list. Now to the outs, which, man, we talked about this, and when we were at DNVR and we saw Jokic go down, the entire bar fell silent. And if anybody knows DNVR, it is not a quiet place to be.
Yeah.
Especially when the Nuggets or the Avs or both are playing. And the air was just sucked out of the room. And
it's literally worse. It's literally worst case scenario.
It is, like, worst fear was kind of realized in that moment. Like, oh my God, Jokic is on the floor holding his knee. And it was one, like, I put my hands over my face. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Like, what just happened? Looking at the replays and everything, he's a big dude, and like, it would take a lot of force to kind of move that body in a way that would be pretty detrimental, but that hyperextension looked a little rough. And I mean, Twitter was all the wannabe doctors on there were kind of blown up about, what was going on. And so try not to, read too much into that. But Jokic, we learned later, all of the ligaments are intact in the back of the knee, which are the ACL and the PCL. And he's out there listing him as a left knee bone bruise. He's out until at least February 1st, which is when he'll be reevaluated. So, given that it's a month away, really kind of sucks, but rather have him healthy and ready to go by the time the playoffs come. And I think we dodged a major bullet with him being out for longer. Really glad that that's not the worst case scenario. And yeah, he looks like he's progressing well. He's staying with the team, which is great, because somebody, and this kind of goes for all the rest of the guys too, with Cameron Johnson and Jonas Valančiūnas. Somebody on, I can't remember if it was Instagram or Twitter, it's like, why would these guys be traveling with the team? Why don't they go back home and rest and do all this? And somebody, I didn't have to say it, but somebody else said it in the comments, is because that's, your athletic trainers travel with the team.
Yeah.
Your medical staff travels with the team. All of your, recovery, technologies and all of that travel with the team. All of the modalities are there. So when you want to do rehab, you do it on the road, and they have a great culture building right now. And I don't think those guys really want to be anywhere else. We've all been part of a team, and it sucks being left behind if you're injured, or if you're just not on the bus. Like, it sucks to not travel with the team. So it's kind of one of those things where, they're going to travel and they're going to be there, which is great. So,
and I bet that helps for those young guys, that they can, like, probably ask questions on the bench, or have Jokic like maybe whisper something to them, or I'm sure he's talking more than we know on the bench, pointing things out to guys, maybe even giving tips to Adelman.
We saw it last year.
Yeah,
we saw it helps when he was playing. So I don't doubt that guys have gone up and talked, and they've kind of contributed to that relationship. And now you just have to go out and play without him on the floor, but he's still there. His mind is still, you can pick his brain, and I hope, Zeke Naji and Deron Holmes are kind of, hearing from him or asking questions. And I'm sure they are, as young as those guys are. So, Cameron Johnson went down with a right knee bone bruise as well. Lucky that we didn't get any partial tears with that, because
That
Uh,
one almost looked worse
that one
because
almost
it
did look
was like
worse.
lateral.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's always something that you kind of look at and you're like, oh, like
Hmm.
that's not something that you want to see, especially with it being a non contact injury. Um, so we're kind of lucky in that sense. He's out until at least January 22nd, which is good. His prognosis looks a little better for getting back quicker. We'll see kind of how that goes. He'll be reevaluated on the 22nd. And then Jonas Valančiūnas, our other big man who we were really hoping to lean on, especially I was like, well, the silver lining is that we have Big Val, and at least we have a center. And of course, I think it was while I was watching that game, he goes out,
Yep.
um, and at least till February 1st, as well. So Jokic and Big Val will both be reevaluated on February 1. And then pending that reevaluation, we'll kind of see what their time frame is to getting back. I did see a report today that the Nuggets could be back to full health or close to it by the All-Star break. If they play their cards right, I think they can be back to full health or maybe missing one guy um, by the time the All-Star break comes up. So that is our
When is the
all
All Star break? Right, like middle of February, right?
yeah,
All
middle of
Star
February.
break.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I mean, feels like the Nuggets are dropping like flies,
I know, man.
and everything that we've kind of built during this off season with Aaron Gordon getting back to health. I mean, we paid
Mhm.
Christian Brown a shit ton of money.
Yep.
Got a piece in Cam Johnson. Traded him obviously for MPJ. Finally got a backup big, and now our MVP is out. His backup's out, and uh, three other starters are out, and all that's left of the main starters is Jamal. And
Yeah.
if you would have told me that we had four guys out, I would have first guy that I would have picked out is Jamal of our
Yeah.
starters, which is crazy to me. And I just hope that Jamal doesn't push it too much. I mean, I know he's dealing with that kind of that ankle sprain a little bit. Um, but as Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown get back into the mix of things, wouldn't hurt for Jamal to take a game or maybe even two games to just rest it.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know, on the road on maybe that Boston game coming up where the Nuggets might be expecting to lose that game. It wouldn't be worth it for Jamal to push it, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I can also kind of see um I can see the rest. I could also see the urgency
Yeah.
of trying to get there, but um I don't think Jamal, obviously I don't think any of them want to take any games off, but I did notice last game that they were giving Jamal a good amount of rest throughout the game. Just with their substitutions and rotations.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that David Adelman and this coaching staff have done well so far in the past two games, um, especially with Jokic out. But yeah, they have their work cut out for them. So we'll kind of
Yeah.
see.
Are you worried about like the Nuggets dropping in the standings at all? I know last time we recorded, we were at second and now we're at fourth. I mean, I could see by the end of the month us being in that sixth or seventh seed, 6-7, an intentional 6-7 joke there, but
Um,
it's realistic
it is
by the,
realistic.
by the end of the month.
However, I did see, I did read another article today that did not have the outlook did not look like the Nuggets were going to be in a situation where they would have to kind of fight and claw for a 6 seed or 7 seed. Um, I just think the way that I think what David Adelman said with this team having as much fight as they do and kind of getting back into the groove of things without these guys, I and they're going into a part of the schedule that looks the outlook looks a little bit better, but also it is realistic in that we could slide. Um, but the fact that these guys would be back by the All-Star break
Yeah.
tells me that if we're healthy by the All-Star break or healthy coming out of the All-Star break, I really don't have that much of a not yet. Well, I should say that. I'm not
Right.
worried yet about this
Yeah.
team. I think if it was post All-Star break or we were getting a little bit more into uh March,
Yeah.
then that's way more concerning. But as of right now, I'm not worried yet. It
Yeah.
it might happen. It's very probable that we could slide, but I think this team could claw back in the standings.
Yeah.
Um,
I think, yeah, we're relatively lucky with the timing of all
yeah,
this. Like, hopefully it's something that it happened and it's just a part of, the story that we tell when we're at the top of the mountain holding the trophy at the end of the year.
yeah,
All the battles and the injuries that we went throughout the year just to, you know, be the cherry on top at the end and make us winning that championship feel that much better.
that
So
much better.
I'm not worried about the standings either. And I think what's good is some of these bench guys and guys that haven't really gotten a ton of minutes are getting an opportunity to get a taste of it and be in competitive games and play serious minutes down the stretch. And think about a guy like Peyton Watson and Spencer Jones that could be big pieces for
Yeah.
us in the end. And Duran Holmes, he could. I know he's kind of filling this role right now, but he could be a guy that you know could come off the bench for us in the playoffs. So it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, you make a great point there with guys being able to come off the bench. And I love that with all the silver lining stuff that's going on, I think one of the biggest silver linings is how deep is this team really? And are they able to, what guys are going to be able to get there at the end of the year for David Adelman to make a hard decision about who he brings into the playoffs. I
Hmm.
want David Adelman's biggest issue to be what guys do I bring in to start to have during the playoffs,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what guys are going to come off the bench because all of them have been playing in a position where they can come off the bench and help the team.
Yeah, guys are getting serious minutes. Peyton Watson in these last two games, his minutes are averaged he's averaging 11 more minutes. He's played 38 minutes in each of these games. Like I said before, he's only played about 27 minutes. His points aren't big in these last two games. I know it's a small sample size, but Peyton Watson's really a guy that's stepped up. I thought right now between the two games, he's averaging 22.5 points and 6 boards. Prior to these last two games, he's averaging 10.7 points and 4.5 rebounds. So he's really a guy that's I feel has stepped up. And I know K Bear said in our chat the other day that
He
Piwat
looks,
just looks like a different player out there.
yeah,
And I feel like he's the guy that's adjusted his game the most since these injuries. And um, he understands that since everybody's out, he just gets to be somebody different, which has been really fun to see. Um, so, and maybe you get mixed results from that. Maybe he goes a little too hard and doesn't have 22 points and has a really inefficient night. But regardless, he's getting good experience, good minutes, and um, yeah, liking a lot what I'm seeing from Peyton Watson.
absolutely. I think P Watt, like you said, and like Kaber said, he looks like a completely different player. And I don't have any other notes from that because again it is a small sample size and I don't want to get too ahead of it. But
Yeah,
if he starts rolling really well like this, if he keeps up the production, he's definitely a lock for your playoff spots for
yeah.
sure. And I think he kind of was at the beginning of
Yeah.
the year. Um, but somebody that's right on his heels, hot on his heels, is Spencer Jones, who
Hmm.
is uh, averaging 37 minutes a game, 9.5 points, 6.5 rebounds. He just brings the energy, man. And I think that's something that this team really needs right now. And I also think it's something that a lot of our other young guys are focusing on and kind of drawing off of is the fact that all that energy coming from one guy. And I think they love it. And I think it's super contagious. And his effort defensively, David Adelman's put him up on some tough tests over the past couple
Hmm.
games, and he's done a fantastic job. So, um, love what I'm seeing out of him. Prior to this situation over the last two games, he was only playing 20 minutes a game. Still pretty darn good for a
Yeah.
two-way guy.
Yeah.
And then 6 points and just over 2.5 rebounds a game. So love what I'm seeing out of Spencer Jones. That jump shot looks god awful, but man, he can sink some threes,
He
and I
can.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
I'm
can shoot the outside shot for sure.
I'm starting to trust, like, when he gets the ball in his hands in that corner and he puts one up, I'm like, all right, I like this
All right,
shot.
I like
It's
that shot.
because I mean, some games he's dropping 3 3-pointers and, like, down in the stretch, he's not afraid to shoot the ball anymore, which I really
Yes,
like to see.
love it.
Um, Seeing similar things from P. Watt. Um, I would just like to see a couple guys have that confidence and play loose because they can. Nobody else is out there. Think about a guy like Jalen Pickett could probably have a little bit more confidence with the ball right now. But Jamal's another guy who's stepped up in the last 2 games. I know he's already having a career year. 27.5 points in these last 2 games. He's crashing the boards a little bit more, averaging like two rebounds more per game. Um, and his minutes are up by about 3 minutes. So liking what I'm seeing from those 3 guys in specific, I thought have been stepping up well.
Yeah.
Any other notes of guys that come to mind that have stepped up big for you?
Um, I think just kept the ball rolling is Tim Hardaway Jr. has. I
Yeah,
think he's done a great job of keeping somewhat consistent.
I agree.
And although I think he is being overshadowed a little bit more, he continues to be a veteran presence, and that's what they need him for.
Yeah,
And I think he's a very calming player on the court for some of these guys, especially P. Watt, Spencer Jones, Zeke Naji, and Deron Holmes. Kind of getting in rotation with THJ is huge, and I'm loving that. I'm loving that out of him. Um, really small sample size, and I really don't want to say much about it, but Deron Holmes again coming off not playing for the whole first you know uh what would it be, like 2/5 of the year or something like that,
yeah,
and really kind of stepping into that center role has shown really good promise off the bench so far, and even in when he got his first start. So
yeah.
um some
And
that's
you pointed to earlier. He's seeing the court really well. His passing is he's showing some flashes of Jokic in that sense, which has been really fun to see. Um, so I'm excited to see where his ceiling is at. Like I feel like we'll get a feel for how high he can go
yeah.
in this next little stretch, or at
I would
least until the
like
end of the month.
For sure. I would like to see him slow the game down a little bit more.
Yeah,
Because there are times when he's out there and I'm like, okay, you're like, he's a little jittery in some,
yeah.
like, you can just see it in his like body language.
He
It's
blew a
like,
couple of layups late in the
yeah,
game yesterday. Yeah,
yeah. Slow the
but
game down. It's like, he's a good enough player. He's athletic. He can shoot it. Just get some confidence, slow the game down, and I think he'll be just fine.
good point. All right, let's move on to our next segment. We're just, even though Jokic is out right now, we do have to recap this historical Christmas game.
Yes.
Like I said, where the Nuggets beat the Wolves in OT 142-138. And that was the headline game on Christmas. It was the last game of the night. Um, just always great to beat the Wolves, especially at home. Like I said, Jokic had 56 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists. Uh, Shot 15 of 21 from the field, 22 from 23 from the free throw line, which is usually Jokic struggles from the free throw line, especially in the clutch. That might be the best free throw line stat I've seen from him. And I
Agreed.
know that um, he was a plus 15 overall in the game, which was just amazing. But into overtime, I thought Nuggets were cooked. Wolves started on a 9-0 run in the first 2 minutes, and felt like the vibes were dead until Jokic just started scoring, and he kept scoring every time down the court. He just took over, and Nuggets ended up winning that game. And like I said, probably I think that was probably our best win of the year, probably best Christmas game of all time. How'd you feel about that one, Maddie?
It kind of brought me back to like classic Nuggets, make it look like it's FUBAR type of game. And
Yeah,
then just all of a sudden make a miraculous comeback and make it one of the best games that you've seen all year. Um, Definitely gets your heart rate going, and that blood pressure can definitely spike if you're watching.
yeah.
But no, I mean, Yoke just continues to something that was said the other day to me. I was talking to somebody and my girlfriend. I was like, "Oh well, Jokic." We were talking about players at their peaks and stuff, and my girlfriend Mel was like, "Oh, I thought you said Jokic isn't at his peak," and I was like, "Well, he isn't. Like, he just continues to
He keeps getting better. Yeah.
get better." And I think this game is kind of a perfect, like microcosm of that situation where when you call on him or when it is called upon to him, he just delivers
Yes.
in that type of situation. It's a huge game. You have like clutch time, free throws, and shots. You go into overtime. It's against Minnesota, who's had your, nuts in a vice for lack of a better term, for a long time. Pending
The
or
last 2 years, yeah.
last 2 years. So you're against an opponent who was built to beat you,
Hmm.
and when players can rise above that, that's that sets the really really good ones apart from the all-time great ones. And man, I just we do a lot of Jokic glazing on this pod, but I think it's rightfully earned, especially with that stat line, especially with the way that he willed the Nuggets to a win on Christmas Day. They were not going to lose when Jokic was on the floor. So, um,
Without a doubt. Yeah.
just historical all around.
It definitely felt like a playoff game. Had that
100%.
atmosphere. I know Ant was getting
100%.
frustrated. Those guys were both teams were into it. It's
Yeah.
really fun. Some other historical stats from Jokic's game. I feel like he's always rewriting the history books every single game or every other night. Only two players have scored more on Christmas Day. Wilt had 59 in 1961. Bernard King had 60 in 1984. So joining greatness there.
Yeah.
He had 18 points in overtime. And like I said, the Wolves went on a 9-0 run in the first 2 minutes. So he had 18 points in 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah. And that 18-point mark broke Steph Curry's record of 17 points set in 2016. So that's just an incredible stat in itself. That was also Jokic's 16th 15, 15, and 15 game, breaking a tie with Oscar Robertson for the most in NBA history. So he's at the top of that list, um, which is just hilarious to me.
Absurd. It's absurd. And it's something where we're sitting here talking about it, and I feel like we get this a lot with Jokic stuff. It's like, oh, there goes another record. Oh, here goes
Yep.
another this, here goes another that. Aside from the fact that there's a good chance that he's not in the MVP race anymore this year and won't make the 65 game mark, yada yada yada. It is still insane to look at the stuff that he's done and the fact that he can. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of background noise from this truck. Hang on.
You're all good.
All right. Just gotta wait till they pass by. Just the stuff that he has done, especially in the last couple years, and the fact that we're sitting here, he's injured, but we're talking about him breaking the tie with Oscar Robertson for the most 15 games in NBA history is like, what else are we going to talk about? Like what
Right.
else is there? What else is there to share? What else is there to ooh and ah about? Because at this point, it's like, yep, there goes another Jokic record. And I don't think we can sit here right now and be like really appreciate it for what it is.
Hmm.
Time, I think, would be the best appreciator in this situation, but we're gonna look back on this and be like, oh my god,
Yep.
this guy was insane, and we were watching it every night, and it happened all the time, and we got so used to it, and I think we do appreciate it to a fault because when he went down with his injury, it was like a, oh my god, the world is ending type of
Yeah.
situation. Like it felt like, oh my god, a family member, not this is
Yeah.
exaggeration obviously, but like it had that kind of impact where you're like, holy crap,
Yeah.
this guy's on a generational run, please do not let it end. um
I
and,
mean, it's gotten to the
yeah.
point where the analysts, like the analysts on national television, are saying, "Don't take this for granted." Like
Yes,
that's their only headline for Jokic right now is "Don't take this for granted.
but which is
Appreciate this."
I totally agree with that, and yes, the 100% they are saying, don't take it for granted, but what blows my mind is we've been thinking that for the past 5 years at least, maybe
Yeah,
six.
we have. Yeah.
And it's just now, it almost got to the point where it was like, oh no, Jokic isn't good. He's fat. He's lazy. He doesn't care about basketball. And all of a sudden, it's a complete 180 other side of the coin where you're like, don't take it for granted. This guy's not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
But there's no like there's like a very little in between of like, man, Jokic is that guy. Like there's
Yeah.
very little of that, and it just completely flipped to a don't let this moment pass you type of thing. And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily rub me the wrong way because he's
Yeah.
really finally getting some recognition. Um, but
I think
it
people
is
are realizing that there's validation to the 3 MVPs he's won, although he's probably should have 5 by now.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that he's one of the all-time greats, and he should be on your top 10 list. For me, he's in my top 5. I
agreed,
think about it all the time. When he does
agreed.
stuff like this, how can you not say this is the greatest player to touch a basketball?
Yeah, when you pass Oscar Robertson, when you it's the fact that I think for most people, and we don't have to dive too deep into this, I think for most people, it's the fact of like championships and
Yes, that you're
playoffs
right.
and all of
You're
that stuff.
100% right.
Yoke is we're decently far into his career, and we have one championship to show for it, but he's breaking all of these crazy records.
Yeah.
Like, um, it's just kind of one of those things where I would 100% as a player watching that player would put him in the talk of LeBron and MJ and
Yeah.
Magic and Bird and Hakeem and Wilt, obviously. And all the conversations are not since Wilt. This hasn't been
Yeah.
done since Wilt, and it's it's really cool to see that, but I don't think a lot of people would just because of the championship situation, which sucks.
That's why our window is relatively small to start getting these championships. Why,
Rack them up, yeah.
like this year, we really
Like
need to get one
we
because that,
need one this year. We need two,
yep,
at least.
yep.
We need at least two.
Let's get 2, maybe 3 by 2030, and
Yeah,
Jokic is top 3
he's
player of all
yeah,
time,
he's in that
or
combo.
maybe he's the
He's
greatest
in
player
that
of all time.
combo. Absolutely. And who knows
But
how many more records he'll
yeah,
how many record slots will you look at and next
yeah,
to the number one is a guy named Nikola Jokic.
he'll be known for the triple double. He'll be the new Mister Triple
He
Double here
will.
soon.
If
Maybe by
yeah, if Brody ever decides he wants to retire,
hang him up.
hang him up,
Yeah,
bro.
we'll see. But yeah, it'll be cool to see down the years. Obviously, Jokic won't play forever, but maybe at this point, the pace he's going at, he could. But it'll be cool, like when a player does something crazy, and it's like, oh, not since Nikola
Nonsense
Jokic did
joke.
this in
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah,
which is just really cool to me. Some other notable stats from this game. It was also a great Jamal game. He had a double-double, 35 points, 10 assists, 9 of 18 from three. Um, as we talked about, he's an ethical hooper. Only shot he was 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Um, Crazy that Jokic and Jamal combined for 91 points that game. They never cease to amaze me. Those two, definitely the best two-man in the league, without a doubt.
for sure. I think it speaks to the Batman Robin kind of
Yeah,
situation, and I do think Yoke makes everybody around him a lot better. But I also, Jamal's his own guy um and his own player in his own right, and he'll be an all-star this year. I If he doesn't, I don't know what an all-star is, to be completely honest with you. Like, um
yeah,
I don't think we've said that about him in years past, and I don't think he hasn't played like it in years past. We've seen flashes of it, but not the consistency that he's at. So I there's only one thing that I need out of Jamal, is just to keep you know keep playing like he's playing and keep that consistency going.
yeah. He's been the leader that we needed him to be since not only the Jokic injury, but since all these other guys went out. So it's
Absolutely.
keep going, Jamal. If you're listening,
Yep.
keep going.
You suck. Keep it going.
Oh, it's funny because whenever we need, it's a joke that we have in our Wash Nuggets chat. Whenever we need Jamal to do better, we always talk shit to him, and it usually works.
It usually works, or it did, especially in the championship run. We were
Yeah,
we were bashing on Jamal, and then all of a
no
sudden he
doubt,
showed up in the
and
playoffs.
it worked. But let's go into our closing little segment. It should be pretty quick. Thanks again for listening. If you've made it this far, our last segment, we always predict the next week. So Nuggets tomorrow face Brooklyn, afternoon game. Should be an easy win. Brooklyn's only 10-22. But you never know with how down bad we are. The injuries might have CB or AG back tomorrow. They're questionable. Maybe one, at least if we have one of the two guys should be confident in that one. How you feeling about that matchup?
I don't see AG or CB coming back for that game. I think
Yeah,
earliest they could be back is Monday. I just don't like on the when you're on the questionable list a day out. It's not really the best outlook. That could change.
and
But
it wouldn't be worth it to push it to play
It
against a
wouldn't.
shitty team.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna want to play it safe, or at least they have been for the time being. Those guys have been out for a month and a half, month and 3/4 of a month. So, I see the Nuggets getting the win against Brooklyn. It'll be interesting to see who they put up against MPJ, but I see them getting a good hard fought win against Brooklyn on the road.
yeah. And then, like you said, they play Monday in Philadelphia. I feel like that one should be a little bit more hard fought. Philly's around 500. They're 18-14. Should be a good matchup. We'll see what happens there. I'm gonna say we win that game.
Okay.
I think the Nuggets like the matchup against Philly and the old kind of bashing heads between Philly fans and Nuggets fans over the MVP
Yes.
handful of years ago. That the Nuggets definitely won that debate.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
What's your prediction for that one?
With all the ducking that Joel Embiid did.
Yeah, no doubt.
Um,
Think a win or loss?
I'm gonna say if the Nuggets have AG in any sort of capacity, I think they win that game.
I like that take.
I when these guys come back, they're definitely gonna be on a short leash. I have a fire truck coming. Hang on. Those guys are gonna be on a short leash, but if AG is back for that game, I definitely see a win there. Otherwise, I think it'd be hard fought, but I think it could end up like all of our other hard fought losses that are, within 10 points that just kind of don't go our way in the fourth quarter. I think this team needs to learn how to close out the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yes, that'd be big. And then Wednesday we close out this. I think it's either 7 or 8 game road trip that they will be closing on Wednesday in Boston. Um, Boston's a good team. They're 21-12. I could see us losing this one. I won't even make an argument for a reason as to why they could win this game. But you know what? It'd be really cool if they did. What do you think, Maddie?
I'm going to put this one as an L just because I could see Murray being sat for this to give him some rest and give the bench guys a lot of run for this game. But then again, you play to win the game, and it's professional sport. So you're gonna throw everybody you got out there to try and come away with a win. Squeaking by a win at Boston would be fantastic. I think it would help tremendously, especially for the culture and the confidence of this team. So I'm going to chalk it up to an L, but I would love for the Nuggets to come out fighting really hard and fight the entire way through. I think it'd be an ethical win or a what do you call it? Like a moral victory, a moral win.
Even if, I mean, it'd be a good moral win if we are within 5 points.
If you're within 5 points, yeah. If you keep it close, if you you end up having an inbound to Jamal Murray with 2.5 seconds left to go on the clock and you miss a buzzer beater and you lose by 2 points, so what? Like, I think that's a really good moral victory for the Nuggets if you can keep it close with Boston and fight hard the whole way through, and not give up 3/4 of the way through the fourth. So I've got this team. I'm going to say 2-1.
I'm saying 2-1 as well.
All right,
I like that.
Perfect.
Hopefully, when we recap on Thursday or whenever we do our next show, that our predictions are correct, or even better, they go 3-0.
Wow!
Close out this road trip.
Yeah, that's bold. But I love it. I love it.
We'll see. But thanks again for listening. Doing a lot of great stuff on the Washed Kings Network. If you haven't already, go check out our sister show at the Sunday Debrief. Great time to catch up on some NFL as it's crunch time in the NFL.
Those guys did their first in-person. We had our first in-person pod of the Washed Kings Network, and who would have thought it would be it wouldn't be this one, but yeah, they had a great in-person showing yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was really great. Go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, and a big shout out to you, Matty Ice. You're the one that does the production behind the scenes, post recording for all of these shows. So very thankful for you to do that. But without further ado, let's close this out. Matty Ice, hit the outro button for us. Let's go Nuggets. Peace.